All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's Follow Boss Friday. I'm your host, Hunter K. Wood, our head of inside sales here at Century 21 Masters. And as we do every Friday, I'll be talking to you about the latest, greatest in real estate technology. And today's course, we're going to be discussing Follow Up Boss. We're doing essentially a review of Follow Up Boss and discussing best practices and essentially in a nutshell. And just to give you guys kind of an idea, today's agenda, it follows the rubric as always, essentially. We're going to talk about best practices. Then I'm going to talk to you about quick essentials in terms of your account and account setup. And from there, the last 5 to 10 minutes, we will do a Q&A session where you can ask me anything in terms of Follow Up Boss related, tech related, anything in between. We'll be happy to field your questions. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into Follow Up Boss. Let me pull up the platform right here so you guys can follow along. The first big major Follow Up Boss best practice that I want you to really emphasize and make sure that you take advantage of is stages and tasks. And when I'm talking about stages, that is the detail right here, the criteria over here on the left-hand side within the Follow Up Boss leads profile, where you can label their stages. Now, let me go real quickly and show you or talk to you a little bit about the different stages that we have in our Follow Up Boss. The first one is lead stage. A lead stage, or someone who is in a lead stage, is someone who's new to your database, who you haven't made contact with yet. And specifically speaking, I typically keep a lead in lead stage for no more than 10 days. And during those 10 days, obviously, I'm going to try to pound them. I'm going to try to get in front of them, try to make contact in any way possible. But after 10 days, essentially, I would move that lead over into the unresponsive stage. Unresponsive stage, self-explanatory. It's a lead that has never responded to you or has ghosted you at some point after repeated follow-up attempts. But there's also a bad phone unresponsive stage that I want to draw your attention to as well. This is a stage that I've created, and it fires off an action plan that will essentially do as almost a year's worth of emails, automatically sending them out to leads that don't have a good phone number. And those emails are essentially designed in a way to essentially talk the lead into giving them their phone number, re-engaging, initiating a conversation. And so that allows you to, essentially make the most out of those leads that you have that don't have a good phone number. And so definitely recommend using and finding that stage over in your client's profile. From there, we have the warm stage, a lead who indicated their timeline is in the next 90 days. I believe I've skipped the hot stage, which is a lead who indicated their timelines within the next 30 days. But you have hot, warm, Then we have, well, there's hot. I just got the order mixed up a little bit. A lead who's, indicated they're in a hot stage, simply it's told you, hey, we're looking here in the next 30 days. We're looking right now. It's of utmost importance to us for us to sell or buy right now. Or it's someone that maybe you made initial contact with, and you weren't able essentially to the full information to really lock them down, and essentially wanted to set up maybe a follow-up call for the next day, or otherwise you want to go ahead and move them into hot so that they're constantly going to be top of mind, top of list, essentially. That way you can finish that conversation, make the next conversation, and then figure out really what their timeline is and what's your next plan of action. Nurture stage is a lead who indicated their timeline is in the next 4 to 6 months. Watch, a lead who indicated their timeline here is in the next 6 to 12 months. Cold, a lead who indicated their timeline is more than 12 months out. Those stages that I just covered, they're very important because each of those stages essentially come with a automated action plan that is going to fire off automatically, reminding you the next time that you need to follow up with this lead. And so, for example, let's look at the Jacqueline Herrera I have right here, my lead that I've got from our website about 2 months ago. Doesn't look like a great lead, doesn't look like her email is actually working. And she's never responded to any of my phone calls or text messages. But anyways, let's just imagine that for some reason I talked to her today and she told me that, hey, actually we're looking, but we're probably going to be maybe, I don't know, 6 to 12 months from now. Okay, no problem whatsoever. I understand that's the way things are. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow up with you. I'm going to keep in touch with you until the time you're ready. And when perfect. As soon as I move her over into a watch stage, what you'll notice is that here on the right-hand side, there's an action plan that fires off automatically called watch priority. What this does essentially is this will fire off a task for me to follow up and touch base with her once a month. Now, essentially, each of these stages have a different action plan that will fire off a follow-up task for you. Hot, and it's going to fire off a task for you once every 2 days. Warm, it's going to fire off a task once a week. Nurture, once every 2 weeks. Watch, once a month. Cold, once every 3 months. Now, there's other stages in here as well as past client and sphere that also have action plans attached to them that they also fire a task once every 3 months. So you can use those as well in terms of classifying and keeping up with your database. But the other stages that I want to mention very briefly, just so that you guys are taking advantage of them, is the not interested. Oops, there we go. Slideshow is the not interested right here, and from there, not interested, but also, for example, trash, vendors, and professionals. Trash, you want to get that out of your databases. It's by moving it to the trash stage, it's essentially deleting the lead from your account. So if you have that, you have a lead that you got maybe from a Zillow or a Realtor, and it's really just not a good lead. It's the phone number's bad, the email's bad. Move it to the trash, get rid of it, clean up your database, and do that. Vendors, professionals, that's self-explanatory. You have other agents or contacts in your database who are real estate adjacent. Go ahead and move them to that stage. This will make sure that your database, and when you go to create smart lists and so forth, that it's very clean and very easy for you to find the leads that you need to talk to and you want to talk to. But beyond that, the reason I wanted to make such a big deal about this is because one problem that I see a lot of real estate agents making is they go into the day. Real estate is a really kind of a freelance sport, a freelance industry where you essentially kind of go in the day. You're flexible. You have the license of flexibility to structure your day, start your day when you want to do it. But it also kind of has the license of flexibility in terms of what you do, how you do your work. And a lot of agents, especially those who are new to the business, don't really know what to do when they get into the office. They're like, okay, guys, I'm here. What do I do? And that's what's, kind of fun about our industry is that you don't have a boss who's standing over your shoulder and saying, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. you essentially are running on your own motivation and initiative. But the thing is, it's if you want to be a successful agent, the most successful agents on our team and our company, they have a structure, they have a system for what they're going to do. They know the work that they're going to do when they come into the office and when they sit down to start dialing it and so forth. And so what happens is when you set up all these stages and you have all your leads in stages, what you can do is come in here at the beginning of the day, go over here to the tasks tab, and bam, you see exactly what you need to do. So for today, I have 6 tasks still left standing. I got to follow up with Samuel, who's a nurture, Steve, who's a nurture, Jericho, who's a warm, Maria, who's a watch. And then obviously I have my overdue tasks that I need to catch up with that are lingering from earlier this week. And essentially I just go from there one by one. I look into my past communication. Looks like he's not ready to follow up until this summer, recovering from some medical conditions. Okay, no problem whatsoever. I'm going to call him and I'm just going to give him a call real quickly and see, hey, how are things going? Are you still thinking that you want to, obviously I know you were having some medical issues. Is everything fine in that regard? What are you thinking about, real estate in terms of the summer? Are you still looking to buy or sell? Bam, perfect, just like that, straightforward. That's how you would essentially do it. And obviously, though, what's great about follow-up boss is you have the ability to decide how you want to do that follow-up. Is it call, text, or email? You can do it all straight through here. So that is best practice number 1 that I really want you guys to emphasize and take advantage of. It'll make your life a lot easier. It'll make your follow-up a lot more structured, and it'll make you close more business. All right. From there, I want to move on to best practice number 2. Best practice number 2 is deal tracking. Okay. So what is deal tracking? Well, we have a whole tab dedicated to deals here at the top in Follow Up Boss. And why deal tracking is important, why it's great, and why it's easy to use is once you get a deal under contract, you want to keep it top of mind, and you want to see where your deals, you want to see where your money's coming, you want to see when do I expect to have this closed. The worst thing that can happen is that you get several leads under contract, and because you're not tracking or keeping on top of them, they're not top of mind, you don't have like a list or something in front of you that you can visualize, you drop the ball on a deal, and that deal ends up busting because you didn't do something that you were supposed to do in terms of getting that deal from contract to close. So what I recommend is, let's look at Tim Murphy right here. Well, actually, I'm going to pull up one of my leads that I'm hoping and I'm expecting that we will finish off with a contract today. We are in a counter offer right now. So I think we'll accept that counter offer. But so I got Sherry right here. We're expecting that to get her under contract. What you can do over here is you scroll down, or you come over here to the right-hand side under deals to create a deal under her account. What you'll do, she's a buyer. If she was a seller, I would come in here and click on seller. But come in here for buyer. We'll click on this. We'll go ahead and put offer. And what I typically like to do is I like to put in the address for the property that she is interested in. So I'll go out here, 4141 Bay Cliff Way. And I can't remember the price, but I want to say it's probably around 400 or 350,000. It's manufactured. And for the close date, I expect it's going to be somewhere towards the end of April 26th, for example. Guys, just a little advertisement. My birthday is April 20th. So if you guys want to celebrate me, please do. But selfish plug right there. Next thing you do right there is in terms of next steps in terms of this deal, come here into the commission, put out what the commission is going to be. Maybe it's $10,000, whatever it is, or let's just do percent wise. That's easier. So it's percent, we're going to get a 2% buyer's commission, or 2.5%, just like that. Come in here, add your teammates who are involved. So Vincent was the lender on this lead. Rebecca was the buyer specialist. And just like that, put any description or anything that we need like that. Click that, bam, it's right there. And the next thing that we do is we go over here. And if we want to visualize our deals and see where they are, you come over here to the deals. Let's go over to Hunter, and bam, we see. All right, here's what I got in terms of my buyer offers right now. I can also see what deals have busted this year. So one thing what's great about deal tracking is if you're also tracking your busted, you're also going to be able to go at the end of the year and look, okay, I had these many deals bust. What is in common about these deals? What can I learn from these deals? What was I doing differently? Was it the lender I was working with? Was it the inspection company I was working with? What's the common thread right here? And what can I do differently in terms of next year? If you're tracking your deals, you'll notice those sort of things. You'll be able to take notes. And what I like to do is once the deal busts, I'll write a note description why it busted, and then at the end of the year, come back, look at those, go through it, learn from those mistakes, or learn from those lessons, and take that into my strategy and dealing with deals.
Hunter, can you show us that from a listing appointment perspective too? Like if
Yeah,
I'm
for
assuming
sure.
you can do that similar, like not like you wrote an offer for the buyer, but for the seller, if you went on a listing appointment, what that looks like as well.
Yep, for sure. So perfect. Let's look at it like this. Let's go back to well, let's just use Martha Nunez right here. Let's say that we got a listing appointment with her. You go over here to the same thing. You go to deals. You switch it from buyers to sellers, and you decide, okay, we can start off. We can do appointment set, appointment met. We can go all through that. One thing that I was thinking about maybe adding, I can add another stage right here. So we could also essentially at some point start tracking your set to sign, and essentially we could add a stage right here if that would be helpful for you guys to track those that you did not actually get signed listing appointments for. But essentially, let's show you real quickly what that would look like. Let's say I got a new listing. I'm going to put it under pre-listing. Let's do 345 Hunter Highway, and the price 500,000. More just like that. Commission 3%. Oops, not $3, 3%. And just like that. Add anybody else that might need to be added. Set the close date and create deal just like that. And then the same applies. You go over here to your deals section, you'll see your buyers and you'll see your sellers. And so you see I got my pre-listing right here. I got my listed. Let's say that we get this from pre-listed to listed. Bam, just like that. Just pull it over. We get it in offers, and then we get into pending, and then all the way to closed. So I personally, honestly, once I get a lead from pending to closed, I go ahead and actually switch them over to my buyers tab right over here, just to keep it all in one spot, because I like to track all the numbers together. But you're free to do whatever you'd like in that regard. So that's essentially what it would look like. It's super easy. If you guys do, like I mentioned, if you guys do think it would be valuable to add or rename, for example, this tab, the start temp stage, to busted or listing not taken, so you guys can track that in the future, I'm happy to change that if you guys think that's a good suggestion. So yeah. Yep. Melinda, any other questions or anything else you'd like to see right here?
Well, in my mind, I'm also like the only other thing I thought would be helpful would be like you said, I think set an appointment to go back for a signature, because sometimes as much as we'd like to sign it the first time, sometimes we have to go back for a second appointment. So it'd be kind of cool to track how often we have to go back a second time, or we just get to sign the first time we go out.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. Yeah.
But I don't know if that would really track that, because once you move it from the one next stage, it wouldn't really keep it in that other category, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I'm thinking right now, I don't think there's any way in Follow Up Boss we could track that. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to track it at the moment.
That's fine. I mean, like there would be, I do like the busted, because then, there's always they expire, they come back up, whatever, that we can go back to and say, hey, we didn't list it the first time, but maybe we list it the second time around. That's entirely possible too.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, cool. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to actually add that busted expired tab or right here to follow up boss right after we get off the call. So good stuff, good stuff. All right, so that's deal tracking in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. But again, why this is important is essentially it's very, especially the more business you do, you get several contracts under contract. You want to be able to come in and see your board, essentially know exactly what's important, and make sure you stay on track on top of those deals. The worst thing that can happen is you lose a contract because you weren't paying enough attention to it. So definitely make sure to do that. Whoa, Melinda, your birthday is April 21st. Awesome.
That's right, birthday, buddy.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, we'll have to celebrate together.
As Tauruses, we rock.
That's right. That's right. Okay, cool. So number 3, big follow-up boss best practice that I want to emphasize today is smart lists. Okay. And so obviously a lot of you already know a little bit about smart lists. It's something that I've been hammering for the past 3-4 months. But this is it's super important to use smart lists because well, you know, you need to be able to access your leads pretty quickly. You need to be able to send out marketing campaigns, and you need to have call lists to essentially make your workflow more efficient. What I like to do, especially in emphasizing with smart lists, is last communication and making sure that we're trying to stay in touch with all the leads that we have in our database in a reasonable manner. And so, for example, you'll notice I have a ISA YLOPO reassigned for 45 days. Basically, what this list shows me is the leads that I have not talked to in more than 45 days. And so it's of utmost importance. Essentially, I come in here, make sure I call this list and stay in touch, make sure that I made an effort to revive or to wake up those leads and get them straightforward. The way that you're going to use smart lists, it is all about filters, and it's very easy from that. But there's different ways you can construct them. So this one right here is constructed based off phone is good, created less than a year ago, though I can probably change that at some point. Tags include our YLOPO tag right there. Tags exclude those tags. Last communication was more than 45 days ago. Source YLOPO, and then stage includes lead or unresponsive. So this was a very detailed list. It's very specific. I know exactly what type of leads I'm calling and trying to keep up with. But let's imagine that you had a list, and you, for example, have a neighborhood that you knocked, and you got a bunch of contacts from that neighborhood. One thing that's really important is you can add those tags. Let's imagine, the neighborhood that I grew up in was essentially the Meadows. That was the name of the neighborhood. So let's just add Meadows neighborhood like this. Let's imagine you door knocked it. You want to farm this neighborhood. You want to send some type of you want to recall that neighborhood, or you want to do some type of follow-up in that regard. Let's create a new tag for this, Cynthia, just like that. Save tags, and let's go here to people. And I'm going to create a Meadows farm list right here. That's going to be easy for me to access and find. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to clear filters. Going to come in here, add tag. Includes any Meadows. Actually, we need to refresh. When you add a tag, you need to refresh follow-up boss so that it will appear all across follow-up boss. And let's type it in right here, Meadows neighborhood. Bam, Cynthia's right here. Perfect. Okay. And so now I save this list. So this list will be fast and easy for me to find. But let's imagine right here that I also wanted to, also put in that last communication, criteria right there. Last was 90 days or 45 days ago. Just like that. And bam, we come in here, click that plus new list. If you're, in any case, you'll either see save list or you'll see this plus new list. Come in here, you name the list, and we'll call it Meadows Farm. If you need to share it with anybody, you can do that. But let's just click save right here. And so that I want to see this, top of mind very quickly when I come into Follow Up Boss, what I need to do is come over here to manage lists, scroll down here to the bottom. I found my Meadows Farm, and let's just bring it up to the top right here. And bam, just like that. Now, when I come here to the People tab, bam, I see it right here. I can see my transfers. I can see Meadows Farm, just like that. Really, guys, it's super easy to use these lists. The only thing that you need is you need to be taking advantage of those stages, you need to be taking advantage of tasks. And I think I've harkened this a bit, but you need to call text through Follow Up Boss so that we can record those last communications and basically timestamp those last communications. Awesome, good stuff right there. Let's go here to first, before I move on to something else, are there any questions about smart lists? I know I moved over that pretty quickly. Is it pretty clear to everyone? Does everybody understand how to build a smart list and why it's important? All right, as Shakespeare said, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, good. I will take that as everybody loves and knows and understands smart lists. So that's great. Cool. So the last thing that I want to basically just highlight in terms of our major best practices to discuss is setting up YLOPO alerts. And this is something we've also talked a lot about. But essentially, it's easy as well. I'm going to go, let me actually clean up this managed list real quick. I'm going to delete my Meadow Farm just like that. And I'm actually going to delete the matrix leads like that. All right, but okay, so let's go to my list of clients right here. Let's clear filters. Let's look. Okay, we got Nick Thorsch, who just registered on our website. Okay. Well, he looks like he's actually a trash lead, but let's see. Well, if I have any other leads, that would be a good example. Perfect. Eloy Pina. Yes, this is a guy who registered on our website, looking in San Diego. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and set him up on some YLOPO listing alerts. Looks like he's a buyer. We're going to go here to YLOPO stars. Let's go to YLOPO stars from the start so you guys can see this. YLOPO's super basic website. One of the things I joke with our partnership manager is YLOPO's got the interface of the 1990s Windows, essentially. But all you have to do is come in here to YLOPO, click on Add Lead here at the top left corner, pull lead details from Follow Up Boss, pull those details. Bam, Eloy Pina, he's right here. A big thing right here is if you already have a YLOPO subdomain with our account, go ahead and find yourself. Let's see. Let's just add them under our default, just like that. And let's click submit and save. And then bam. All right, so now once we're here, we are going to have his YLOPO link. This link will appear automatically after 10 or 15 minutes in the custom fields section right here. Show all fields. It'll appear right here, but I'm going to paste it just so you guys can see it and know where you'll find it later on in the future. So when I come into the account, I can always access their YLOPO stars link right here. But since this is a buyer, what we're going to do is we're going to set him up on listing alerts, and we're going to come in here and know he's looking in San Diego. I'm going to go San Diego, California, just like that. I want to take a look at the property that he looked at real quickly, see what he was interested in, so I can set him up a more, active or, awesome. So this looks like it's a condom, or not a condom, a condominium. I apologize. It's a condo. Looks like it's a condo. All right. And in between us, San Diego and Escondido. Okay, perfect. How many bedrooms? Does anybody see how many bedrooms? Oh, 3 bedrooms. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set him up in YLOPO. Let's go back to his link. All right, so he's looking at San Diego, California. Looking for probably a condo or a townhouse. Let's the price range for this was around 750. So, let's keep it maybe to 800,000. And looking for 3 bedrooms. And okay, well, looks like we only got about 25 options, but that's all right. And let's see, is there anything else that might be important? Well, in any case, you can see here, we got plenty of options. For example, if this was a manufactured property, you could, look for, whether it's on leased land or not, so forth and so on. But yeah, let's go there. From there, we make sure that this box is checked. There's another question here at the bottom, whether or not you want to set it up on dynamic search or agent defined search. A dynamic search, what that's going to do is essentially it's going to change the criteria that we've set right here based off what the lead looks at on the website. So let's say that I start sending him listings via email. When I click submit and save here, he clicks on a listing, goes to the website, and essentially he starts browsing and scrolling. Based off what he looks at, based off his online behavior, it will change the criteria here to match more of what his search behavior has been induced. I recommend that for leads that you don't really necessarily know their criteria concretely. But if you have had a very full-on conversation with a lead, you know what they're pre-approved for, it's better that you go ahead and set agent-defined search, because you don't want the criteria to change so that it sends them unrealistic properties. So that's just a little tidbit right there. Click submit and save, and bam, you got essentially a buyer alert set up that's going to be sent out on your behalf daily or weekly. Other thing is in terms of YLOPO, setting up seller alerts, which is just as easy. You come in here, click on this button, put in the address, set how frequently you want to send out the seller alert. That's going to send a home bot report telling them what their home is worth, current interest rates, opportunities in terms of maybe looking for an investment property, all that sort of stuff built into one report. And you just add it just like this, super easy, super straightforward. So yeah, that's the 4th major best practice that I wanted to highlight for you guys. Now I want to move into our basically setup essentials that I think that are going to be very helpful for you guys. One thing is go over here to the admin, and it's called turn on lead processing. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here to admin. You're going to go to API. This works if your email is already connected with Google or with Office 365. And you can go ahead and turn this on. What this does essentially is this makes sure that you get any leads from any different type of referral programs, whether it's sold.com or Realtor, Zillow, anything like that, or lead pops. Essentially, those emails go to your email account. They send you the lead details. Follow Boss will basically recognize those emails, pull the contact information, lead details from the email itself, and then pull it and put it into your Follow Boss automatically. So it saves you a lot of time, effort, and copy and pasting, and basically automates that process for you. So make sure, a lot of people do not have this turned on, I've noticed. So if you're right now in front of your computer and in front of Follow Up Boss, go ahead, go check, make sure you have lead processing turned on. It'll make your life a lot easier moving forward. Okay. From there, the next thing that I really want to emphasize here in terms of my settings best practices is making sure that your email's connected, obviously, but sharing your emails and calendar, especially if you're going to be collaborating with any other agents or lenders within our office. This makes it super easy. So for example, you send off a lead to get pre-qualified with Blake or Gabe or ISIS or any of our great lenders. Essentially, you won't necessarily have to be texting the lender every day. Hey, what's the status update? How are things going? You'll be able to see the communication. You'll be able to see where things are at, and you'll be able to stay in the loop. And so, and vice versa as well. If the lender needs to be involved once the deal's under contract, they'll be able to see your emails and so forth. And so, anyways, makes life a lot easier. Super highly recommend it. While we're here, I also recommend coming here and check and make sure you are okay with your personal Follow Up Boss phone number right here. Some of you, obviously maybe moved here from out of state, and your personal cell phone number is not like a California number. Maybe it's an Idaho number, or maybe it's an Arizona number or a Texas number. And so what Follow Up Boss does is it gives you a Follow Up Boss number that is similar to your current like actual cell phone number. And so make sure that you have the area code that you want. It's very easy. You come in here, choose the area code 951, and then you can essentially pick a number to be your Follow Up Boss number, just like that. So yeah, highly recommend that as well. While we're here, also recommend setting up a voicemail so that when you get calls through Follow Up Boss, people know who they're calling. They can, leave you a detailed message that's going to be. But also, the last but not least, I personally, it's this one is very important to me. I think I'm maybe just I don't know, OCD about it, but when it comes to calling method, I like it to ask me each time, and I think most people probably prefer it to ask me each time, and they don't know that you can have this as an option. What does this mean? So for example, let's go back to a Follow Up Boss real quickly. Let's go to a lead. Let's look at Nick. If I was, when I click on his phone number right here, it gives me the option, internet or mobile phone. Right now, your default setting is that when you click this, it automatically immediately starts calling through Follow Up Boss. And a lot of people don't like that because they're like, well, I don't actually want to call through my computer all the time. Sometimes I want to be called through my phone. Well, yep, the way that you can essentially, make that decision in real time and just make one really quick click is make sure that you change that calling method option right there in the settings. Okay. And then one of the last, there's two more things I want to cover real quickly. The last one is collaborators. Make sure you're adding collaborators to Follow Up Boss, adding your lenders, for example, or other people who are involved on a deal with you. It's super easy. You come in here and you just add them just like that. Click save, and bam, you're rocking and rolling. They're able to see all the leads' contact details, your communication with them, and helps you essentially collaborate and work together and move forward. And then last but not least, track your activity, guys. So one thing that I'm sure a lot of you guys are getting coached, a lot of you guys are have set goals for yourself and have some sort of accountability for yourself. Well, the best way to hold yourself accountable is to know your numbers, track your numbers. And what's great about that is we can do that in Follow Up Boss. So for example, if I go over here to agent activity under reporting, I can check myself out, but I can also look at everyone else. And looks like, let's see, in terms of calls today, me and Melinda are at the top of the list right here in terms of calls and so forth. And so, for example, I think I shared with you guys before, my goal each and every day is I want to make at least 200 phone calls. I want to prospect. I want to call at least 200, make at least 200 phone calls, because I think making 200 phone calls is going to get me closer to making, between 30 to 40 contacts. And if I can have 30 to 40 contacts a day, then I can have between 2 to 3 appointments a day. So obviously it's a numbers game. You got to know your numbers. Make sure you're tracking yourself. You're holding yourself accountable here in Follow Up Boss for calls, texts, and emails. And yeah, anyways, it's pretty straightforward in that respect. Yeah, that's it in terms of best practices and quick essentials. Now we're going to move over into the last section of today, which is the Q&A. Ask me anything. So yeah, let's open up the floor. Does anybody have any questions, Follow Up Boss related or otherwise?
Just curious, are you going to provide a video recording of this?
I know we are recording right now, but I would have to ask.
The answer is yes.
Jesse, you're the man. I appreciate you. Yeah, Jesse will provide that. I will let you know where you can find it.
Abigail, I have it ready in the next week or so.
Awesome. And where would we look for it?
On Neil's YouTube page.
Oh yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Actually, it was Debbie, but I was wondering, I was asking the same question. I was going to ask the same question.
I heard you. That's why I answered.
You heard my thoughts. I love that, Jesse. I love that.
Jesse's on my reader, guys.
I have a question.
Yeah, hit me.
Thank you so much, Hunter. I currently use Follow Up Boss, and clearly I wasn't utilizing it to the maximum benefits that it has. So I have
Yeah.
just to start, I only have 2 questions. Could you go over one more time the hot, warm, nurture, watch, cold numbers? And then how do you add that into that format?
Okay, so let me see. Tracy, are you using our Follow Boss or do you have your own personal Follow Boss account? I'll say it again.
I have my own.
Okay, yeah. So it's pretty easy to set up. I'll show you real quickly. Let me pull up so I can show you. Let's see. All right, so what you'll do is, let's come in. I'm going to log into our main admin account. And okay, so if you want to add the stages, with the action plans that fire off because of the stages, I would have to share that with you. Actually, it's not so difficult to find. So what you do is here, come into your admin, and you see you have a stages right here. You can set your own stages.
Okay.
And essentially create the number of stages. I know with Follow Boss, you probably have a default 3 stages that are like hot, nurture, and cold.
Right.
Yeah. And so I've always thought that it's better to be more specific in this regard. And so that's why we have built the Follow Boss in the way that we want it. It's like this. So essentially, if you wanted to add these stages, you would do that. And then, yeah. Tracy, are you with Century 21 Masters or which?
No, I'm with my own firm.
Okay, well, cool. So, I can show you a little bit, kind of what this would look like, but from there, you would need to come in here into action plans,
Okay.
and you can actually browse the action plan library. And I think that I've added these action plans so that other teams can access them. But you'd have to find them. They're hot, warm, nurture, watch, and cold. Let's see. They're not very well. This library is not very well categorized.
Under action though. Okay. And then I come up with my own time frame for calling people back, and that's how it automatically tells me when to do things. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I would suggest. I'll see. I mean, I'll see if I can find where it's here in the library, and I can maybe message you later about it. But let's say you wanted to set up your own time frame that that's more comfortable for you. You would essentially come in here to action plans, create an action plan. Let's call it your warm action plan.
Okay.
And you would just essentially create a task, follow up, and build it like this once every, let's say maybe you wanted to do your warm every I don't know, 10 days, and then you would essentially just do this. I mean, it's a little bit time consuming, but you would need to do this over and over again for like up until like we have our action plan set to run for about a year or a year and a half without pause, and you would essentially just build it like this.
Okay.
And you save it, and then you can automate it as well based off stage.
Okay. I can put that and figure that all out. And I took some pictures of the other items, so I know what the hot, cold, and warm that you can.
Yeah.
See. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome, cool.
Okay.
My pleasure. All right, guys. Any other questions? Anything else I can tackle for you guys? I know we've got about 3 minutes or so until my time is up. All right, I think that's a wrap for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it was very impactful for you guys. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Next week, I will not be performing the course next week, just because next week I got my college reunion, 5-year college reunion. So gonna be showing up for that, looking spiffy, going to a little, we're having some type of wine, I don't know, wine tasting event of some sort. So I'll be out next week, but we'll be back here the next week after that, and rocking and rolling as always, showing you guys the best and greatest and latest in real estate technology. So if you need anything before then, you guys know where to find me. It's right here. Here's my phone number, my email. I'm happy to help you guys anytime. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Hunter.
it.